Before I share this story with you, just a real quick shout out. The intuitive take on the state of the nation is now out. You can go get that. It is in video form. It's on my link tree, or you can go to my website, www.somaticmoney.com. Go over to the video tab, click on that. My Shopify page is right there, and it's right at the top. So go get that video, watch it, come back, comment, let me know about it, and I would love for you to see it. So here's the story that I want to share with you. It was earlier this spring, and I ran across a video that was talking about this sciencey thing about houseplants. But basically, this sciencey video about houseplants had figured out that when you have houseplants for a certain period of time, they begin to calibrate with you. They begin to have a relationship with you, and their energy sensory ability can pick up on where you are located with, like, literally within miles of the house. I don't know how they did the science, but like people who had houseplants would travel out, and then they would start traveling back, and as they tracked, the biologics of these plants, they could see these plants getting activated as their people got closer to their house, especially within, I think it's a 3-mile radius. Plants become sensitive to us within a 2 to 3 mile radius outside of the house. And oh my God, that just really got my attention. I've been kind of thinking about that off and on. And I'm one of those people, like, off and on, I am just so completely aware about how plants have a language, plants talk with us, plants have a vibration. Like, I'm totally down with that. Do I participate in it all the time? No, because I've already got so many other things going on. But recently, that has been circulating again. So that video really got my attention. Then, about a week ago, this next video dropped into my video sphere. And it's about a woman who's been walking around talking with trees. And I'm totally down with that too. I think that's totally cool. And the way she was talking about trees just totally got my attention, because I think she started with something like standing next to a tree and just feeling it, and literally hugging a tree and feeling it. I mean, that is a pretty nice thing to be able to do, is just kind of hug with a tree. That is a very nice thing to do. But then she got into this practice of being within the sphere of a tree, beginning to have a conversation, converse. And as she was doing this, she had this experience where I think she was conversing with a tree, and the tree told her that there was going to be a gentleman who was going to be showing up later that day, right around 1 or 2 o'clock, and to be ready and aware for that person. Guess what? Her uncle showed up right around between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, unannounced, did not call, did not text, just wanted to show up and drop something off and leave. That tree was right. And I don't know, the way she talked about it, it turned on an attunement with me. And all of a sudden my spidey senses were up as far as talking with plants or nature again. Okay, so that happened. Then this weekend, Peanut and I, we went out hiking. We went up to Heightened Creek, and totally out enjoying nature, rivers running. It was just a perfect temperature, sunlight, air. It was just really, really beautiful. And then we got back into a certain part of more of a woodsy area that had gone through our forest fire last year. And I have not been up to that part of the canyon. I have been putting that off. And then this trip to do this hike, I was like, I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to probably be hiking into the burn area. So I was kind of semi-prepared, not how can you ever be fully prepared for something like that? We got into that part of the hike where this beautiful area of trees that's usually this canopy of trees and is peaceful. We got to that area of trees and it was burnt. It was burnt it was not living. Now, the ground was beginning to green up and there were shrubs beginning to come up, but it just hurt my heart. I'm one of those persons that I kind of I can feel how a tree is feeling. Like, that's how sensitive I am. And so to walk into this burn area with those trees, like, that was really, really hard. And I don't know, there was just something in me, the way that woman had talked about talking to trees, and my sensitivity level was up to this burn, and something in me was like, I need to channel. I need to channel. I need to talk with these deceased trees or this area. And so, like, I turned on my camera and I took footage.
Standing in deadfall. Not really any of this is alive. This is from the burn, and I thought, okay, well, let's do what I do. Let's channel a little bit. Let's listen to these trees, because like pretty much I'm walking around in grief, because usually when I come in here, you got the canopy of trees, and it's alive and it feels so good. That's just not what's happening. So I'm listening to the trees here, listening to spirit. And the fire that came through here last summer, that what they're saying is the elders, the ancients came calling, time of the reckoning. These forest fires are to wake people up, time of the reckoning, time to come back to nature, I can feel time to come back to nature, time to come back to the ancients, time to come back and take care of things like that. That's what I'm hearing. And this was the elders came in, and they, like, it was payment time. This forest fire was payment time. Listen, know what you're doing. Wow, that is a tough message to feel, but it's true. Like, we're at tipping point on the planet. And that's what they're saying. So, okay, we're gonna keep walking through this.
But basically what came out of it was like, I walked out of that impact zone of the trees that I had loved walking in were now burned and dead, but I had also opened up the channel to keep something living there. Like, it really moved me. It really shifted me. And I walked out of that experience and got back on the trail and started heading back with Peanut. Kind of forgot about it until today. Something happened today. There was something about today. I don't know what it was about today, but I was out on a walk with Peanut, and I don't know. We're in that whole, I don't know, some of the astrology that we're going through right now and what's going on with the planet. And I think that whole Gaia rising thing, like, I was out on this walk, and all of a sudden I could feel that lift. The lift of energy and the lift of light. And all of a sudden I had that sensory energy of, like, really feeling all living things in, like, greater detail and greater sensory input and greater light and like color. It was like my senses came up at a whole other level. I got to a place in the path where I turned around and I was just standing with the grass and the trees and, the light in the air. I was just all in that, feeling this higher sensory impact experience. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, the lady who talks with the trees, I need to do that. I'm in this higher sensory space. I need to do what the lady did, talking to the trees. And so I just kind of, like, opened up again. And, previous, like, I opened up to deceased trees. Like, that previous channel was opening to deceased trees, which was really painful. But this was opening up to living trees and living foliage in this heightened sense. Like, oh my God, everybody, it was amazing. And the moment I opened up to that, the trees started talking to me. The trees started talking to me and telling me things about my dog and my life and what was going on in the path. And a couple of them said things about, like, we watch you come and go every single day along this path. We've been tracking you. We've been watching you. We love you. We're really glad that you come along here because you see us and you interact with us. And, like, there was this whole exchange that happened. And it was like this woman said, you can interact with nature, especially nature that you've got a relationship with. And, like, I've been building a relationship with this nature area for a couple of years now. And it's kind of like, I've I've built up some energy bank with them, basically. And so I was able to have this whole total exchange, which was pretty amazing. And that made me feel so much lighter and so much better. And then I got Peanut, turned around, we started walking back, started walking home. And I got back to the house and I was like, I need to do this with the trees and the rose bushes and some of that here. And so I did. I literally went and walked into the lilac bush and just kind of felt the lilac bush for a little while. And then I went over to my rose bushes, and my rose bushes were like just so grateful for how I've been taking care of them, because like when I got here, they were not well watered. They were not well fed. Well, I have been watering them. I have been feeding them. And this year when they came up, they're just in all this full, amazing, great glory. Like, you should see these rose bushes and how they are coming on with bloom. And I literally could feel their gratefulness of how I've been taking care of them. One of them has an attitude. One of them is like, I'm the red rose bush. And the other one, the yellow rose bush, is like, all this love, all this love, all this love. And then I went over to a locust tree, a locust tree that I should have cut, because it was kind of in a space where I'm supposed to keep stuff cut, and I just didn't have the heart. So I've let this locust tree grow, and I got over to this locust tree, and there was all this love flooding to me from this locust tree, and literally said to me, like, thank you for letting me live. Thank you for letting me grow. And I literally, I walked into this locust tree, and it was like it wrapped its branches around me. It wrapped its branches and leaves, and I could feel all of the detail, and it was just amazing. And so I am just coming to you on this day. The world's in chaos. There's a lot of dark stuff going on. I don't want to negate that, there's totally a reality there, but I also want to let you know the feminine is rising. The feminine is rising, the Gaia earth energy is rising, the light is rising, the veil is thinning, and plants and trees and animals and grasses and all of these living things are talking with us. Secret language of plants, secret language of trees, secret language of birds and bushes. Like, nature is truly talking with us. And Remember, there was a time on the planet when humans walked around on the planet able to talk with trees and birds and grass and flowers and fruiting things and vegetables, and the sunlight, talk with the sunlight and talk with the lakes. There was a time that we did that. Remember that? Well, we are beginning to do it again. We're beginning to do it again, and it is not crazy. It is not weird. It is our thriving survival. It is our sovereign birthright. It is our privilege of being here on this planet to be able to have this exchange with living, breathing, sentient intelligence in all living things. And I just want to remind you of that today and encourage you to go out and enjoy it and soak it up, because this is a large reason why we came to be here on the planet at this time. All right? That's what I've got for you for now. Make sure you keep walking forward to meet those miracles along the way, especially all of that in nature world. And I will see you in my next video.